Today I'm talking about building a custom Superstrat that we started in the winter and we're going to finish up in summer. So this will be the second part, and the last part will be the guitar in review, plugged in, the actual sound of it. Here I'm going to talk about the components and the pieces that I'm going to be using to put all this together and going over some of the stuff. First there is the body. This is the body. It originally started as a very cheap Samick that someone I work with gave me, and we sort of modded it up. So first we stripped it down, and you can see the sort of red color that it was, a bit gawky. It's like a cherry red, very 1980s guitar. But it's a light body. I think it's a poplar body. Some people frown upon poplar as a wood to use because of its soft quality. Other people really like poplar. I've never used it, but my guitars are very heavy and I wanted something light and durable, and this guitar did the job. You can't really see the grain underneath it anymore because we glued over top of that. First thing we did, it had the humbucker section, or sorry, the bridge section already routed and the humbucker. I wanted to create a guitar that had a humbucker, a P90, and a Strat style single coil because I'd never seen a guitar like this and have a variety of sounds. So we routed out the P90 part and the single coil part, and it had one volume control. It was kind of an Eddie Van Halen style 1980s guitar with one pickup, one volume. I wanted some more diversity out of that. So we routed in a position for a 5-way selector switch, which I'm putting a Fender one in, and also a tone control. So that was the front side, and you can see some of the wood grain that came through, and the poplar actually, it has like an ash sort of look, but I don't think it's ash. But we were going to change that up. If you look at the back side, obviously the section here where the tremolo block goes through and attaches in here was already there, but what we had to do was expand the cavity that the tone and the controls and everything would go into, because it was only about to here. We needed to make room for the tone switch, so we also routed all this out. And all this routing was done by creating a jig in order to size it out, and we did it in my dad's basement. I wanted to take it one step further. I've always liked the quilted maple look, and you can buy quilted maple veneer like this. I bought this at Lee Valley Tools. This was sequence matched as it should be, and this was about $25, and it's a nice sheet of wood. You can see the color difference somewhat after the fact because we sanded it down, and we had to glue this on in several strips. It came out pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look all that impressive right now because it hasn't been stained. When you apply a black stain to it, or whatever color stain you want, what'll happen is the hairs in the grain will stand up and you'll get that rippling looking effect really sticking out. And then you sand it down again lightly and you add another coat and you keep going to really bring that look out. You can see the contoured lines here of where we glued that middle piece in, and that was strategic. This side glued on really good because we had to do the horn separately. Here you can sort of see the lines, so we're going to try to cover that up with the paint job after. But essentially that's the body in its state right now. I've been sanding down the back edges just to contour and smooth it more so that it feels better against the body and whatnot. This is the neck I'm going to use. I'm a big fan of Fender style maple necks opposed to rosewood necks. Rosewood is the darker wood, and then there's also ebony, which is darker still. But the maple is just one piece. It feels nice. Gives it a brighter edge. Rosewood is going to give you a slightly darker tone. Maple is going to give you a brighter tone. So this guitar is probably going to be pretty bright sounding when it's done, but some EQing I'm sure can compensate for that. This is the second neck I bought. This is a Mighty Mite neck, and they come highly recommended. This is a 9.5-inch radius neck, like a Fender American would use. You can see licensed by Fender. There's the Mighty Mite logo, and it's already got the holes for the machine heads pre-drilled. It's got a spot where the truss rod is, and I may change out this nut. We'll see. I think it's just a plastic one. It's not too bad looking. Comes with jumbo frets I ordered specifically. People say they're easier to bend with and play on. I usually have medium jumbo frets on my other guitars, but this one I went for jumbos, and it's a nice neck. I think it's going to do the job quite well. When you get a neck, it comes in a box like this, and this was actually the second neck I ordered. This neck was about 160 bucks. I got it from the musician's friend. The original neck I ordered was this neck, which is a Chinese neck, for 50 bucks, and it is not as nice. Necks, they come wrapped in this material, and this is the neck, the Chinese one. Probably doesn't look that different on the video. It's wider. It's a 12-inch radius neck, so it's a little bit more width, and it's got medium jumbo frets on it. We hold them up side by side. You can see there's a slight difference in the look. This is a nicer neck. It's a little bit darker in tone. You can see the back, slightly different as well. Just the craftsmanship on this one is much better. The nut on this Chinese neck has really poorly been glued in. There are gaps you can see, space over top, and there's some yellowing on here. So I may mod this neck up and use it on a different guitar, but for this guitar, the Superstrat, I'm going to be using the Mighty Mite neck going into the body, like so. So it'll be something like that, okay? Let's put these pieces over here for now. Let's look at the other components that are going to go in. I got Sturgill locking tuners. These come highly recommended. I've been reading about them for years. I haven't bought a pair ever, but this will be my first try. Locking tuners lock up in the bottom. They clamp up on the string, and then you just have to give it a bit of a wind on there. They will facilitate using a whammy bar or a tremolo arm without having to put a locking nut at the top, which I don't really want to do. Not a metal player. Metal players prefer that so they can go crazy on it. I've got a bit of a different setup. So this was $71.95 from Steve's Music in Ottawa here, and you can see the other pieces are inside the box. I haven't opened this up because I don't want to make a mess, and those will be installed into the headstock. This is pretty awesome. This is a Super-Vee BladeRunner. It's really expensive. With shipping and conversion from the States, this came to about $267 for a bridge. Why does it cost so much? Well, it's fully stainless steel. It's got these nice modern style saddles to them, which are adjustable in the back. And what's great about this bridge, several things. Number one, you got a full stainless steel block here. You can get other material like brass blocks are really popular for extra sustain, but stainless steel also works really well. Now, when you compare it to a cheaper one, you're going to see a radical difference. When you compare it to the sort of cheap ones that come with cheap guitars, they're made of zinc alloy, and the bridges just don't compare overall. The zinc alloy bridges are really cheap. They have a tapered block to them, and they just don't match up. The other thing that's really good about this is it has 4 screws instead of the 6 traditional ones, and this simply just pops in and replaces the old bridge. So all I'm going to do is put it in here and screw it down. I don't need the twin point saddle or the twin pivot poles that a modern Fender is, which is a little bit trickier to install. And it looks like a Fender bridge. It's really, really good quality. And the major advantage of this in combo with the locking tuners is that instead of being locked to the body and bending upwards like a Fender style bridges, this thing sits flat, and inside it is a blade that when you bend down on the whammy bar, which comes right here, and pop this in here, when you bend down on this, when it's locked in, the blade inside the device moves and creates the whammy effect without raising the bridge off the body. What this means is that your guitar is going to stay in tune a lot better, and you're going to be able to do some crazier bends. This will float, so it'll bend up and it'll bend down to whatever you feel like doing. Let's look at the pickups next. I got 3 sets of pickups for this guitar, as there are 3 chambers for them. In the back is going to be the Seymour Duncan JB, which I got in white intentionally. I want to go white, black, white with the particular setup of this. And this one was ordered off of eBay from a store for about 80 bucks or so. The Seymour Duncan JB is considered the most popular humbucking pickup in rock and hard rock. On Seymour Duncan's website, they cite it as the archetype hot-rodded humbucker for over 35 years. Great for everything from heavy blues to heavy metal. There are 2 versions, the SH4 and the TB4, and the SH is a standard humbucker and the TB is a trembucker. So if you have a bridge with a whammy bar, you're going to use a TB, which is what I have. And if you have it in, say, like a Gibson or some guitar like that with a hardtail bridge, then you're going to get the SH. The DC resistance is 16.4K and it has an Alnico 5 bar in it as its magnet. A lot of people say it was the sound of LA rock in the 80s. I just want something heavy and clean, and when you compare it to other pickups, these are Alnico pickups on here, and this one gives you a lot of definition. So even if you play a distorted chord, you're really going to hear that rather than ceramic pickups, let's say, which sort of mesh every sound together more. This gives you a little more definition, so that's pretty cool. Part of the reason why I started building it is because I won these 2 P90 pickups. These are made by Tone Emporium, which is a company in Ottawa. I won these at a guitar show. The P90 pickup was created by Gibson, and it's a single coil pickup that was created in 1946. They originally made them to replace the Charlie Christian pickup, also known as a Blade pickup, and you know, it showed the evolution of Gibson's sound, I guess. It's also known as a soap bar pickup, and it was only short-lived because the humbucker pickup, or Gibson's PAF, was introduced in 1957 on the 57 Les Pauls, but the earlier Les Pauls from 52 on to 57 would have had P90 pickups in them. And Gibson often refers to this as the laid-back pickup. Because it's a single coil pickup, it's not as heavy, but it's got a bit more bite and power than a Strat single coil pickup. And P90s are famous for being in the original Les Pauls. They give you something in between like a single coil and a double coil. They're like a hot single coil, if you will, to give you sort of a bluesy particular sound. I'm going to be using the Tone Emporium Soap Bar P90s, and their website cites this pickup as a Strat on steroids, flute bell-like tone, open and organic. I'm going to be putting the neck pickup into the middle. It's kind of a weird thing to do, and often mid you want more bite and mid-range obviously, but I kind of want to warm it over a little bit more by using the slightly softer neck pickup over the bridge. The neck pickup has got a 7.6K DC resistance, and the bridge is 7.9. So the bridge is a little bit hotter, but I think I'm going to try the neck. We'll see how. I could always change that out. It's also an Alnico 5, and it's like half the resistance of the JB. So there's going to be a big switch in there, which we'll have to see how that works out. In the front, I have a Fender noiseless pickup right now, and this noiseless pickup came out of my old Strat. It's going to go in the neck, but it might get replaced. This pickup has a DC resistance of 9.8K, so it's going to be hotter than the P90. So again, we'll have to see, but I'm very much thinking that it is going to be switched out eventually, but I'm going to try a sort of hotter pickup to see how it matches up, and then potentially change to a Klein or a Lollard or something like that. This one's an Alnico 2 magnet, and making all the pickups in this guitar are Alnico style magnets. My Gibson has ceramic magnets, so this will be a different kind of vibe. And of course the noiseless pickup, as the name says, is noiseless. It's hum cancelling, so another advantage of using a pickup like this. way. So you're gonna have white, black, white. This will be in the middle. Another thing you want to do when you have a body like this is shield the body's inner parts where the pickups are going to be, all in here. And what you want to shield it with is this stuff, which is copper tape. And this will cut down on buzz and noise and all that sort of undesirable stuff. A friend of mine at work gave me this. You can buy this stuff at a hardware store, and you just line the insides of it and it'll improve the tone. And then you get the odds and ends, 5-way switch, volume controls. There's a tone pot for the back. These are 500K pots, same with the volume one, because I'm using double coil pickup, so it'll be advantageous that way. And back plates, neck plates, sort of standard fare in here, screws. This stuff all came from other guitars that have just been sort of dismantled, and they kept the best pieces of them. Pretty standard stuff. In here, we've got some other accessories that I obtained from Guitar Fetish. A lot of guitars, they want to, you know, when you see these kind of Superstrats, they just kind of dump the single coil in there and you can see the wires. It's kind of ugly. What I'm gonna do instead is I ordered this particular brass plate, which is a pickup mounting for the single coil. Single coil goes inside, and you can pop this on the top. Makes it easier to mount it, and it's going to give it a bit more of a stylized look, especially since the humbucker will have a matching one in the back. So that's kind of cool. Also, in here, take all this out. Got a new jack plate and a jack for it, just to make it clean. And I'm a big fan of these knobs. These are going to be the speed knobs, volume and tone. These ones, they're about $13. They're brass, and they have chrome, and they have mother of pearl on it. So it'll end up looking like that. A little more stylized than the plastic stuff that a Stratocaster gives you. And there essentially are all the parts that are going to go into this guitar when it's finished. So thanks for watching, and there'll be another video to come when it's all put together.